सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल, बेल आइकन को क्लिक करना ना भूलें, जिससे आगे आने वाले सभी यूट्यूब अपडेट्स, वीडियोस, नोटिफिकेशंस आपको मिलते रहें।
Welcome you all to Parishkar family, and I, Dr. Richa Singh, again present before you Geography Model Paper of CBSE Class 12th 2023. So, hello students, hope you are doing well, you are preparing well in your exam. Now, let's begin with our second model paper of CBSE Geography. Now, again, you know the structure. Till now date, you should know the structure of your answer question paper, how it will be. Again, we should go through. There are 4 sections A, B, C, D. A section is MCQs based. It is 1 to 17 are multiple choice question. Then in section B, you have short answer type question, and in section C, you have long answer type, and D comprises of your map based question. So again I am telling you the most scoring in this paper is section A, which comprises of MCQs question, and section D, the map based question, where you can get full out of full marks in your paper. So now let's begin by looking at the objective type questions. Section A, first question, which element is not part of cultural environment? Now among these, you should know what do you mean by cultural environment. And among the cultural environment is what? Cultural environment is man-made environment, and among these, which is not man-made element or structure? Guesswork, climate. The first complete population census conducted in India, for that you should be updated with the general awareness question. When was the first census in India conducted? So it was in 1881. Sectorial planning does not include. Now what is sectorial planning? For this question, you should know what is sectorial planning. Sectorial planning is where your broader region is covered into sectors, and their overall development of that sector, of that particular sector or region take place. Irrigation, hill, transport, infrastructure. So the correct answer is infrastructure. Which one of the following is not a component of population change? So you should know the components of your population change, which is given in your population chapter. Birth rate, sex ratio, migration, death rate. Among these, sex ratio is not the component of population change. By birth rate, death rate, there is change in population. Of course, migration also hugely impact the population demographic structure of a region. So only the sex ratio is that it does not comprises the component of population change. According to World Health Organization, about 1/4 the communicable disease in India. Now communicable disease are what? Diseases that can be transmitted very easily from one person to another. You can all see why the communicable diseases are there in India, due to Radcliffe line. What is the population of mega cities? Now what is the population of mega cities? For that you should know that the mega cities are which kind of cities that have population of more than dash billions. So that have the population of more than 5 millions are known as mega cities. Who is the chairman of the Niti Aayog in India? The chairman of Niti Aayog, it is also a general awareness question, is your Prime Minister. Dash make people vulnerable to drug abuse, alcoholism, crime, vandalism, escapism, apathy, and ultimately social exclusion. Among these, crime, none of these, criticism. The most probable answer among these 4 is poverty. Poverty is the genesis of all the ill in the society. So the probable answer is poverty. This you can now see is a very the MCQs are based on general awareness type questions. So if you apply your general awareness and your presence of mind, you can easily solve these questions. These are comparatively very easy. Who said Asia has many places where people are few and few places where people are many? Now this is a quote given by an academician, geographer, so you should know who has given this quote. So no guesswork, it deals with the accurate answer. The correct answer is George B. Cressy. Now George B. Cressy was a geographer and academician, and his focus area was the Asian country. Which state in India is the most urbanized? Now the most, you should know the urbanization, the level, the hierarchy of the level of urbanization in the country. The correct answer is Maharashtra. Consider the following statement and choose the correct option for the same. Now these are again the assertion and the reason and the statement question. So you should consider, you should read carefully the two statements and you have to draw the interlinkage between these two statements. Now what the first statement says, the thought of possibilism in which man was taken as free, uncontrolled and master of unlimited power has been criticized. So the possibilism, take the thought of possibilism which advocates that man is free, he is uncontrolled, he can do whatever he wishes or according to his will. This has been criticized by many geographers. A consequence of free run of developed economy, many problems are being faced today like greenhouse effect, ozone depletion. Because of this thought process of free control of the environment, there is many global problems that we are facing now like greenhouse effect, global warming, noise pollution, many diseases, and of course which is fatal to the environment and to the human, both of them. Now you have read the statement carefully. After reading, both statements are correct and statement second correctly explain the statement 1. Only first is correct, second is correct, both the statements are incorrect. So by looking at the statement, we can say that both these statements are correct, they are not incorrect. So the probable answer among these will be A. Both statements are correct, and because of the possibilism thought, this has caused many environmental problems. Moving on to our next question, arrange the following country in sequential order according to gender gap index. Choose the correct. Now for this you should know the correct gender gap and the hierarchy of it. Which country stand first, second and third. And by this you can say the right answer is, the first is second, New Zealand, then Spain, then Germany and then USA. You have to arrange in sequential order according to the hierarchy. Which country come first in gender gap index means the narrowing the gap between the genders, men and women. There is no inequality. Equality, gender gap index establish, try to establish the equality between the two genders in a society. Now A assertion, state like Arunachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand have fairly large geographical area, yet their population is not even 1%. Now we can see according to the population, the area is comparatively large. Now what the reasons say? It is not necessary that state having large geographical area will have more population share. So by looking at the reading carefully the statement, now look at the options. Both A and R are true and reason is a correct explanation of the assertion. Both reason and assertion are true and reason is not correctly explaining the assertion. A is true but R is false. A is false but R is true. So you have to evaluate very carefully. They were simple. Assertion was simple and the reason for it was also simple, but the probable answer will be B. Both A and R are correct. Both the statement, by looking, we shall go through the statement again. By looking at the statement, both are correct, but the reason it's not completely, it's not fulfilling the assertion. Arunachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, these have fairly, they are not that big state in area, but why the population is less in this area, the reason for this is their physical factors, their physical location, the physical hardship prevails over there. That's why they are not that densely, they are not that population dense. So reason is stating that these have large geographical area is not compulsory, but basically reason is the physical factors are there, are not amicable to the population. So the probable answer will be B. Reason is not correctly explaining the assertion. Now next, in agriculture, water is mainly used for irrigation. Yes, provision of irrigation makes multiple cropping possible. This is also right. Now, what will be the probable? Any guesses? Again B. Both assertion and reason are correct, but reason is not explaining the assertion. In agriculture, water is mainly used for irrigation. Of course, water for irrigation, we need water, and reason is an independent statement. It is not dependent on assertion, neither it is explaining assertion. Provision of irrigation, by irrigation we make multiple cropping possible. So they are independent one. Now a different type of MCQ question, MCQ based question. You can be given this chart, human development, or any other chart, human development report, gender report, anything, population density, urbanization. On a base, looking at the chart itself, you have to read that chart correctly, and based on this chart, MCQs will be given. So it's quite easy, but you have to, the only thing work here is your presence of mind and how well you read the chart. Position of India and its neighbouring country as per Human Development Report. Now this is a Human Development Report of India and its neighbouring country. So you can see the name of the countries and their Human Development Index. Now based on this, there we have questions. India is ahead of which country in Human Development Index? By looking at the chart, you can see India is ahead of which country? The right answer is Bangladesh. Now you can see India is ahead of, India's Human Development Index is 0.609 and Bangladesh is 0.570. So it's much ahead, immediate ahead of Bangladesh. Although Nepal has low, Pakistan has low, Myanmar, Afghanistan, but the immediate one will be Bangladesh. Neighbouring country. Now main question was neighbouring country is ahead of which neighbouring countries? Bangladesh. So in the given options, you have to look at the options also, because Bhutan is also having less Human Development Index, but there was no mention of Bhutan in the option. So you have to read the options correctly. Whether it is China, you have to evaluate each option. China ka dekh lo, Maldives, Sri Lanka. You can compare all these three countries' Human Development Index. As per the given statistic, Bhutan has Human Development Index value of 0.605, in which tier Bhutan is classified based on Human Development Index. Now Bhutan Human Development Index is given, we have already looked. Now country with low level of Human Development Index, now in which category it is being categorized as? Country with low level, country with high level, country with high level of Human Development Index, and country with medium level of Human Development Index. So it is country with medium level of Human Development, and the low one was Afghanistan. You can see in the chart itself, the low was Afghanistan, Myanmar, and it comes in middle category. So these questions are comparatively very easy because the answers lie in front of your eyes itself. The only thing is like your alertness and your presence of mind. Now, which of the following is incorrect with respect to the given information? Now you have to read, you have to consider every statement. Afghanistan ranks 171 in human development. India falls in the category of medium level. It's also correct. Nepal has outperformed Bangladesh. Now for this you have to go back to the chart itself to check it. Myanmar falls in the category of human development range. So the wrong answer among these is the C1, that the Nepal has outperformed Bangladesh. You can verify. You have to in this question you have to verify the given option by looking at the chart itself. Now we come to ending with our section A with MCQs question. We come to our next section, section B, which comprises of short answer type questions, right? Now study the following map. Now again the map is given. Map based questions are very important in your exam. So go prepare thoroughly with your world map and your India map. Now you have to study the map thoroughly, and based on this you have to answer the question. Now what are the question? Name the waterway. Now first you need to identify the map itself, what map it is, which country or which infrastructure, which cultural environment element is showing it. Name the waterway. Now you should know which waterway it is showing. It is Panama Canal. Name the points A and B. You can see the A point here and B point here. So you should know the ending and the starting point of the Panama Canal. The answer is colon and B is Panama. What is the length? 72 kilometers. For this you should know about it. You should have read about Panama Canal. Now again text based question, you have your paragraph will be given to you, provided to you, and based on the following passage you have to answer the questions. This is also comparatively very easy because the answer lies in the paragraph itself. For this you need to carefully read, underline the keywords again. For that it will save your time and you will able to answer more accurately. Underlining the keywords and you will be able to answer. Now very easy question, what are secondary activities? You know very well, which deals with transform the raw material to finished product. The manufacturing industry, in the paragraph we are talking about manufacturing industry sector, which are secondary sector, and what is it is given, you can read itself. What is importance of secondary activities in the world? Now importance of secondary, because the paragraph deals with the secondary activities. Now importance is that they add value. What do secondary activities do? They add value to the raw material. So they deal with the value based products. So they add value to the natural resources by transforming raw material to finished products. Which the keyword was valuable. Which process helps secondary activity? Now what are the processes? In the looking at the paragraph you can answer manufacturing, processing and construction. These lies you don't have to write on your own. Look at the paragraph, what it is given in the paragraph, then you answer this question. Explain. Now next question, short type, explain how dairy farming is highly capital intensive and labor intensive. Dairy farming, you all know dairy farming is a lucrative one and it is both capital, it needs heavy expenditure, and it is labor, of course we need labor, huge and skilled labor is needed. Dairy farming is highly capital intensive and labor intensive because of the following. Because it why it is capital intensive? Because it needs huge animal sheds, storage facilities for the fodder and the milk and the animal based products. So it needs huge cold storage, big ranches. Now feeding and milking machines. Feeding and milking machines add to the capital of this industry. Cattle breeding, healthcare or veterinary. Veterinary is also required. Health of the animals is important. It is how it is labor intensive, because it involves skilled type of labor. Of course, the number of labor it needs more, but it needs skilled type of labor which are skilled in feeding and milking and taking care of the animals. They are well trained veterinaries. There is no off season for the workers. Now this is again a plus point where it is providing full time employment, but it needs the labor all the year round because there is no off season. The transportation, refrigeration, pasteurization, other processes that are involved in dairy industry, these all require huge manpower. They can't be replaced by simply machine. That's why it is labor intensive. Now the next, this question has internal choice. So the next question is, what are the features of plantation agriculture? Features of plantation agriculture. Now the plantation agriculture, we all know it was developed by Europeans in the colonies, mainly the Asian tropical colonies which they colonize. Plantation crops, what come under plantation? Coffee, tea, rubber, sugarcane, pineapple. They require large estate, large area. They require large capital investment. Cheap labor, they involve labor, but the labor should be very cheap. Now only single crop specialization is there in plantation agriculture, remember, no multiple. A good system of transportation which links the estate to the factories and market for the export of the product. You need a good transport network for the export of these products. Scientific method, it is capital intensive. Tea, coffee, cocoa, sugarcane are all examples. We have already read to it. Next question, groundwater resources. Now you should know the groundwater. What are the groundwater? Based on the river basins of the India, our groundwater is being classified. The total replenishable groundwater in the country is 432 cubic kilometer. Now we have talked about Ganga and Brahmaputra basin in this because it is short answer. You can mention one more, Krishna, Godavari, Narmada, Tapi. According to your choice, the Ganga, Brahmaputra have about 46% of the total replenishable, means it can be replenished. Okay, because these are perennial rivers. The level of groundwater utilization is relatively high in river basin lying in the northwestern part and southern India. Agriculture accounts, because these are populationally dense and here agriculture is being practiced very intensively. Agriculture accounts for 92% of the groundwater utilization. So this was the answer. Next question, state any two advantage of air transport in international trade. Very easy question, not that difficult. Advantage, you should know the advantage of air transport. You know, it can handle high value and perishable goods over long distance. Fastest travel, it has reduced distance by minimizing travel time. Thus it quickly approaches its destination point. Because of its quick services, it is more suitable. Next question, elaborate the statement, all services require special skill. Now you have to read the statement and understand the statement first, and after understanding you have to answer the question. Now look at the answer. It is absolutely right to say that all services require special skill. Health, education, law, governance and recreational require professional skills. So you have to first mention the name of the skills and what kind of skills require specialization. Health, you know, in health, education, law, all you need a specialized courses are there in which you specialize in these type of services. These services also require other theoretical, these services require both theoretical and practical knowledge. Manpower is the most important factor in tertiary sector. These skilled laborers professionally trained expert and consultant perform tertiary, and the skilled labor are highly paid and they are much have a better standard of living in the society. So you require the special skills, the special services require special skills. One way to understand the importance of manpower and skill is looking at the example that are given. You have to explain this question according to the example. You have to give examples like the work of a plumber. For that you need a special training for it. Not anybody can perform the work of electrician, plumber or a barber. You need a specialized courses, and you see the persons who have done a proper specialized courses for it are better placed and they are better paid for it comparatively who hasn't, right? So this is the most probable. So this question you have to explain by citing example from the current scenario. Now our next question is, define outsourcing. Which type of activities are outsourced? Now for this you should know outsourcing is what? Where companies give their work to another company, or they give their work, they diversify their work to another areas. Is giving work to an outside agency to improve. Why they do so? Because it improves efficiency also, and they cut their cost also. When outsourcing involves transferring work to overseas, just like call center where your company is located somewhere like in North America or Australia and you are working here in Asia, right? Although offshoring and outsourcing are used together, outsourcing generally leads to lower cost because it improves the efficiency of the work also, and it cuts their cost. It lowers their cost margin also. The following activities, now you have to give the example of the outsourcing activities: information, IT, human resources, customer support. I mentioned call center services, management of account receivable, account payable, accounting types where you can easily give to outside agency, handling, troubleshooting, and some manufacturing and engineering activities are also outsourced. Now next question, classify Indian farming into two groups. The main sources on the basis of sources of moisture from crop. Now this type of question I have already given in the model paper first. So again we go through it. Write two features of each. In India, farming is classified on the basis of the availability of moisture. It is classified into irrigated farming. Means irrigated farming is what? It again bifurcated into two branches. The main source of moisture for crop is irrigated by various methods. Irrigated means the use of water for raising the crops. So what are the different method of raising the crop? Well, tube well, from where you get the water. It is based on two types, productive and protective. Productive means you have to increase the productivity of that particular crop. It is enhanced by providing them more water, more irrigation. And protective means you have to protect that crop from the ill effects of the climatic condition, like you have to protect that crop from drought. So you have to provide them sufficient moisture. Next type of farming, rain-fed farming, which is completely based on rain. The features of it are, this type of farming, the main source of moisture is for soil and crop is rainfall, means they are dependent on rain for their soil, for their moisture. Rain-fed farming is done in the areas of dryland and wetland in India, where it is being practiced in the dry area where the rainfall is less than 75 centimeters. Crops are drought resistant. They receive sufficient, wetlands are area that receive sufficient rainfall to cultivate crops. The areas that are intensive where you receive good amount of rainfall are wetland area, and the crops that are grown in that are rice, sugarcane. You can see in the West Bengal, Bihar region where rainfall is good, there the crop cultivation of rice and sugarcane take places. Now we come to the Next question of section C in your long answer series. Examine the role and importance of Inland Waterway Authority of India. What is the role of Inland Waterway Authority in India? So, the Inland Waterway Authority, it was set up in 1986 and it is entrusted with the responsibility of developing the inland waterways, the national waterways in the country. It deals with all the development, maintenance, regulation, everything about the national waterways in the country. It does not function, it does the function of surveying the economic feasibility of new project. New project deals with the national waterway and also the administration, and you know the national waterways in India are three. There are three national waterways in India. Ganga, Brahmaputra, you have, next is Kerala, and you have then Krishna, Godavari. Now it advises the central government. It also it is a advisory. It acts as the advisory board to the central government on the regulation of the national waterways. Now, what are the importance of inland water transport of India? The importance of inland water transport, it is important because it contains both, it carries both passenger and cargo traffic in India. It provides the cheapest and the suitable most mode of transport for heavy and the bulky material. It is fuel efficient, eco-friendly mean of transport. Apart from transport, it is important for the promotion of tourism. It is adding revenue to the tourism industry as well. The famous Nehru Trophy in Kerala, Valamkali, is held in backwaters. So, the famous backwater race that held every year annually in Kerala, so it promoting tourism also. So, this is your answer for the inland waterway. Now, next question in line is write a note on non-conventional sources of energy. Comparatively very easy question. You know the non-conventional source of energy and its advantage over conventional sources of energy. First, we deal with the solar energy. It is cost competitive, environment friendly, and where it can be used in heaters, crop dryers, cookers. In India, we have being a tropical country, we have great potential for the solar energy, and most prominent states in India are Gujarat and Rajasthan. Wind energy is absolutely pollution free, inexhaustible, and the country with hold the potential of wind energy is, again you have Rajasthan and main Gujarat, and in Gujarat also we have Lamba wind power plant set up. Tidal and wave energy, India has a long coastline, so we have potential for harnessing tidal energy also. India, and it is projected the total available wave energy along India coast is projected at 40 gigawatts at present. Next in line is geothermal energy. Geothermal energy harnesses the underground hot water and it converts it into energy. In India, geothermal plant has been commissioned at Manikarikan in Himachal Pradesh. Next is your bioenergy, because we have municipal waste, animal waste, human waste, and that waste is converted into energy. It is harnessed and converted into energy, and it is converted into electric energy, heat energy, or gas for cooking. And one such plant for converting biomass into bioenergy is being set up at Okhla in New Delhi, right? So these are your advantages of your non-conventional energy sources. Next in line, explain the significance of port in the development of international trade. Now you have to give the significance of the coastal ports, how they are developing our trade, relation with other countries, differentiate between entry ports and naval ports. First, you have to answer the first part of the question, which deals with port constitute an important economic activity in coastal area because it opens the gateway to the international trade. You know, from the Britishers, rule of the Britishers itself, all the discoveries into the new land were made through the sea waves, water waves. So they are opening up gateways to the whole world, to the international trade, and it function as a carrier of cargo, travelers, and from one part of the country to the another part of the world. The port provides facilities of docking, loading, unloading and storage facilities for cargoes. Port authorities make arrangements for maintaining navigable channels, arranging tug and barges, and providing labor and managerial service. So these are all the function of the ports in India. Now next part of the question deals with, you have to differentiate between entry port ports and naval ports. They are collection centers where goods are brought from different countries for export. An example you have to cite here: Singapore, for example, Singapore for Asia, Rotterdam in Europe, Copenhagen for the Baltic region. They brings the good for international trade. Naval port, you know the naval port are important for defense purposes. They have a strategic role. They serve as a warship and have repair workshop for them. Kochi and Karwar example of such port in India. Now this question contains an internal choice. Do you favor free trade? Justify your answer. Now you have to justify your answer. First you have to explain what is free trade, and then in the answer itself we have dealt with this both positive and negative aspects. Free trade is also known as means act of opening up economies for trading, and is also known as trade liberalization. You are liberating trade, and you are opening it for the another countries, bringing down the tariff and all the taxes down. It is done by bringing down trade barriers like tariff. Free trade is a mixed blessing because it has positive as well as negative. Now you are justifying, you are critically examining this question by giving both positive and negative aspect. If positive, first point, efficiency. With free trade, domestic face competition from abroad, and therefore there will be more incentive to cut cost and increase efficiency. Of course, when you are exporting your goods to another country, you tend to increase the efficiency of your own product so that they can sell it more. Specialization, you also deals with the good which you are specialized in, where country only produces good that they are efficient in. That is when which they have a lower opportunity cost. They produce the good which they are specialized and in which they have lower opportunity cost. Specializing leads to higher output. So it also favors your generate of more revenue. Consumption, free trade enable increase in consumption because you have a variety of goods in front of you. So there are options for you open up, and then it increase the consumption of goods also, and consumption increases the production thereby. Market power, without trade barriers, free trade decreases the market power. The role of the market tends to decrease. There is no monopoly. Decreases the market power of monopolies, as the monopoly is a key word here, as they are competing at a global level. It may also prevent domestic monopolies from charging into higher prices. So prices are nearly balanced in such type of trades because you have competition from all around the world, and you can't increase because people will tend to go for the goods which are at cheaper rate. Prices, local firm have to compete against the firm from all across the world, especially online also. Competition is a win for consumers. Consumer gain from it because they enjoy the products, commodities at lower prices. Negative, now you look at the negative aspect of it. Excessive dependency of goods, because if you are dependent on another country for the goods, then you are not producing in your own home country, but you are relying on the host country for its supply. The country become too much dependent on foreign countries, and it leads to in case of outbreak of war or any other mishappening or economic slash down, So the export is completely curtailed. It decreases. Example is given during 1991 Gulf War. America refused to sell its products to its enemy countries, that is the Gulf countries. Obstacles to the development, even our oil imports are hampered if there is some tensions going on, political instability or economic breakdown in any of the Gulf countries where we get our oil. So it is like having a negative aspect on the world economy as well. Obstacle to the development of home country, of course, if foreign goods are imported freely, the domestic countries of the developing country would not be able to develop rapidly due to superior strength of the foreign industries, because they have more developed technology to develop these goods. So in a way it hampers the development growth of the home country. Empire building under free trade, the foreign traders, particularly the dominant ones, the developed ones, may try to become empire builders, just as in case of imperialism and colonialism, how the Europeans captured the countries, the market of the African and the Asian country, and eventually they had ruled these countries through the medium of trade only. So it is a kind of it helps in empire building also. Import of expensive harmful goods, the goods that are harmful, that are banned in the international market, through this medium the countries are able to sell these dangerous goods into the another country. Rivalry and friction, of course competition do create rivalry and friction. Free trade sometimes create rivalry and friction among the trading nation. In other words, commercial rivalry often result through free trade and it leads to war. Now the next question in line is, describe 5 characteristics of highway of the world. So you have to give characteristic, you have to describe the characteristics of the highway. You know the highway are what they are, the metal road that helps to connect places. Now you have to give the properties, the characteristics of highway. This helps to procure raw material and its help in agriculture and industrial development of the country. These roads are more than 80-meter wide. The breadth of these roads are 80-meter wide, and they have several traffic lanes which enhances them to handle increased traffic as compared to the smaller roads or the roads which connects the cities and towns. So highways are really broad and they have several traffic lanes where vehicles of different capacity can travel in their particular lane. So it carries huge traffic. Bridges, flyovers, embankment are common features at high speed. This helps to connect major, and it is connecting major industrial port, agriculture center, market and port. It provides employment opportunities by connecting the important location of the country, whether it is strategic of strategic important from the economy point of view, politically administrative point of view. It is connecting the country in one thread. Highway have also indulged in environment pollution. Now this is, of course, characteristic include both positive and negative aspect of a element. So it is indulging in environmental pollution because of increased vehicular movement and emission of smoke. And low quality, they require regular maintenance, because if they become of low quality, they result in wear and tear of vehicles and lead to fatal accident. In developed countries, every city and port town is linked through highways. So these were all the long question of your section C. I hope you got it and you try to underline the keywords and write it in points. First understand the question, what is the question asking, whether it composed of one part or two parts, then answer simultaneously. Now in section D, it deals with your map based question. So those who have prepared their maps very thoroughly can easily solve this question, and again repeatedly I'm telling you, these are scoring one. You can score full out of full in these type of questions. So you have to prepare your world and your Indian map very thoroughly. Now what the question says, on the outline of India map, mark and indicate the following feature. You have to indicate all these are not asking you question, but on the outline map which has been provided to you, you have to mark and indicate what the features that are being given. So using proper symbologies, and you have to also prepare an index also. Whether what is 1 indicating, what is 2 indicating, what is 3 indicating, you have to write the name, and you have to prepare proper index also, and you have to use the right symbologies for it. Now you have to simply mark the places. The state with lowest level of population density, it is being marked over here, Arunachal Pradesh. Largest rice producing state, it is also being marked, West Bengal. Largest rice producing state in the country is West Bengal. Copper mines in Hazaribagh, it has been marked, it's here in Jharkhand. International airport, Guwahati, so you have to mark where Assam is, Guwahati is. And highest out migrating state in India, where there is highest number of people migrating out of that state, is Uttar Pradesh. So you have to mark here Uttar Pradesh. You can better is you use the symbologies on the map and you note down it in index. It is the correct way of writing the symbologies on the map and indicating them on the index. Next deals with the world map. On the given political map of the world, the following 5 features are shown. We can see the 5 features are shown. I think now you have to answer these. Identify now this is the identification. You have to identify these features that are given on the map, and accordingly you have to answer and write them on the blank spaces. Now the blank spaces were given, and there you have to write seaport of Europe, where it is, it's in, first one is given seaport, you should know the seaport of Europe, Hamburg, Transcontinental Airways. Second, Transcontinental Airways, Canada. Major airport, third. Okay, here it will be, most probably what will it be? Beijing. A mega city, fourth one, a mega city, India, it is, you can clearly see it's India. Inland waterway, fifth is here, inland waterway, so here you have St. Lawrence waterway. So this is how you have to mark your answers on the given political map, and this is how you have to go through your paper. So this is how your whole question paper will be. So you have to prepare accordingly for your upcoming board exam. You have to divide your time schedule and your writing skill according to the given structure of this question paper. Thank you from my side and from the Parishkar family. All the best for your upcoming exam, and hope you gain much from these model paper more and more. Thank you very, very much.